This is a topic that's really close to me. I care about it deeply. And in the conversion optimization space, there is this big debate and this challenge with infomercial type marketing and brand marketing. And we run into this challenge all the time because ultimately, if you have an e commerce business, you are trying to optimize for completed purchases. And therefore, there is a direct response aspect to it for sure. And so in this article, I explore my views on it, my biases on it. It's something that I've been studying infomercials for many years, going back to Bowflex days. And I don't think most people realize this, but Bowflex was selling at one point $1 billion worth of workout equipment just through TV infomercials. And so clearly the format works. And the reason why this came into my notice in the first place was because I loved Bowflex and I loved the infomercials. But the people that were in my team, and I was working for a creative agency in Chicago, completely hated that format and couldn't believe that I would even find it interesting because we wanted to work for brands like Procter and Gamble, General Motors, and stuff like that. And so it was the exact opposite of what Bowflex was doing. But I thought there was something quite interesting in the Bowflex model, in the infomercial model, and we cover all of that in this article. The basic idea is that the information infomercial format does have its shortcomings because it's too direct, right? It's like there's this. It's kind of like fake. It's kind of like that overzealous sales guy who's like on Prozac and super excited about every small detail, exaggerating all the benefits, fake countdown timers. And so I think there's been an overcorrection on the brand side of the equation, and the brand side of the equation has its own benefits because it kind of creates a defensible moat for you, right? So Procter and Gamble, for example, even though they are selling a commodity, they've built a brand over the last 150 years. So that's a moat. And so I'm not just going to go to the grocery store, and even if there's a toilet paper that is, you know, 20% cheaper than Procter and Gamble, I'm willing to pay a premium for Procter and Gamble because there's a brand promise there. So clearly that really matters. But when a consumer is buying something for the very first time, they're actually treating you like a direct response. They're saying, what are your tangible benefits? I think a repeat buyer would behave differently. This is where the tension comes in. So even when I'm working with clients are always pushing us to be more brand focused and less direct response focused. But the problem is that if it's brand focused, I'm painting this beautiful picture about what we stand for and our philosophy. This first time buyer doesn't simply care about that question at all. And so it's very difficult to affect the sale. And if I'm being measured based on sales, then I have to give the buyer something really tangible that's beyond the brand promise. And the brand promise is worth zero to them. And so my view is that the truth is somewhere in between. And in this article, we talk about Dyson. And I think Dyson is a great example of a brand that has found this perfect space between being an infomercial type product and being a pure brand product. And they have incredible messaging. I've included a video here as well, a commercial of theirs. But they also, from their product page, you can see they clearly have a direct response focus as well. And I think getting that balance right is just super important. And also, I should mention that trillion-dollar brands like Procter and Gamble are now also investing in more direct response type formats for some of the independent brands that they own. So this is something that is growing in popularity, and I think you should jump into it because it is something that is, it's incredibly beneficial. So that's what the article discusses. The bottom line is that the truth is somewhere you don't want to be completely on the brand side of the equation. If you're trying to maximize conversion rates, if you're not, that's a whole different game. But if you're trying to maximize conversion rates, you don't want to be completely on the brand side of the equation. But at the same time, you also don't want to be completely in the traditional infomercial equation because there is this opinion about, consumers don't like it. I mean, ultimately, as a marketer, I want to do what's effective and I want to zag when the consumer expects me to zig. So people have a bias against infomercials. So just coming up with yet another infomercial format is simply not going to work. You need to come up with something different and distinct. I hope this helps.